If you've been scrolling through endless home gym ads, you're probably looking for something that actually works in your living room, fits the space you have, and isn't just another pricey gadget that gathers dust. You want a setup that lets you squat, press, row, and maybe even simulate a ski motion without having to buy a separate piece of equipment for each move. The big fear is spending a lot of money on an all-in-one that ends up feeling like a compromise on every exercise. I spent a solid weekend digging through the product pages, watching unboxing videos, and scrolling through the 36 Amazon reviews to see how real owners were using the Speediance Gym Monster 2 bundle. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What I found is a surprisingly pragmatic piece of equipment that tries to cover a lot of bases, and it does a decent job, though not without a few trade-offs that matter if you're particular about certain lifts. First off, the Gym Monster 2 is marketed as a revolutionary all-in-one home gym. In practice, that means you get a basic flat bench, a set of adjustable weight pins, a rowing handle, and a pair of ski-style handles that attach to the same frame. The frame itself is a sturdy steel rectangle with a fold-down backrest that lets you switch between a flat bench press position and a more inclined rowing stance. Setting it up is fairly straightforward. You lay the base on the floor, snap the backrest into place, and then lock the pins for the weight stack you want to use. The whole thing weighs around 80 pounds, so you'll need a couple of hands for the initial assembly, but once it's up, you can slide it around on a carpet or a smooth floor without too much hassle. Now, who actually benefits from this bundle? If you're a beginner or an intermediate home gym enthusiast who wants to cover the primary compound movements bench press, shoulder press, rows, and a bit of lower body work, this might be a solid entry point. The adjustable pins let you change the resistance in roughly 2 kg increments up to about 100 kg total, which is enough for most people who are just getting into strength training. The inclusion of the PowerGrip handles for rowing and the ski handles adds a cardio element that you won't find on a typical bench-only setup. In other words, if you're looking to replace a dumbbell set, a separate rowing machine, and a ski simulator with one compact frame, the Gym Monster 2 does that. On the flip side, if you're a lifter who focuses on heavy squats, deadlifts, or wants a true Olympic-style bench with a deep chest press, you'll feel limited. The bench only tilts to a modest 30-degree incline, so you can't really do a full incline press or an accurate shoulder press without compromising form. The weight pins are fixed to the frame, which means you can't add external plates or change the load distribution like you could with a traditional power rack. Also, because the whole system is a single frame, you're stuck sharing the same space for all movements. There's no way to do a low row while simultaneously loading a heavier press without resetting the pins. One of the practical strengths I saw in the user videos was the ease of swapping between exercises. A reviewer demonstrated how they would start a session with a few sets of bench presses, then simply rotate the backrest 180 degrees, attach the rowing handles, and move straight into a rowing circuit. That transition took under a minute, which is a real time saver when you're trying to keep heart rate up. The ski handles, which mimic a Nordic ski motion, added a surprising amount of cardio without needing a separate machine. For people who live in apartments and can't swing a full treadmill or rowing machine, that added versatility makes the Gym Monster 2 feel like a genuine hybrid. The hidden trade-offs become clearer when you consider daily usability. The weight pins are mechanical, meaning you pull a lever to lock the desired weight and then release it to change the load. After a few weeks of regular use, some owners reported that the pins could become a little stiff, especially if you don't keep the whole frame clean of dust. It's not a catastrophic failure, but it does add a small friction point that you'll need to oil occasionally. Another practical limitation is the bench's footprint. Even though it folds fairly flat, the overall footprint is about 5 feet long by 2 feet wide, which can dominate a small living room or bedroom. If you have limited space, you'll need to plan for a dedicated corner. In terms of value, the Gym Monster 2 is priced around the mid-$500 range. Compared to buying a cheap adjustable bench, $150, a separate rower, $300, and a set of ski handles or a cable attachment, $100, you're actually saving about $50 $100 by bundling everything together. The real value comes from the convenience of having a single frame that you can reconfigure on the fly. If you love swapping between strength and cardio,